Son says, "Dad, can I come?" No. Look, I'm not showing off, son. Not yet. I will in a minute. Okay, no, no. Okay, we're at the wrong place, wrong time. Maybe I should have started that one off. Anyway, look, it's such an honour to be here today. Before I read out some of the messages, Dwina, you know, you're an incredible, incredible woman. I'm going to give you guys a little story about Dwina before I tell you about my experience with the wonderful Robin and his son here. Now, Dwina, with all the things that she's been going through lately, and of course before the terrible news, she was sending my brother, who is suffering from cancer at the moment, and she was sending him books. She was trying to find out what she could do to help him while her own husband was battling so much. She was out there reaching a hand out to little old me and my family, and that said so much about you as a person. And I think it's really important that people know how wonderful you are as well. Now, I immigrated to Australia with my family when I was 6 years old, born here in England. And when I went to Australia, one of the places that was just around the corner from our house was a place called the Bavarian Steakhouse. And this place was great. Why? Not because they just did great steaks, but the reason was because we found out through the family that this was the first ever place that the BeeGees performed in Australia, was at the Bavarian Steakhouse. This is what I was told. So for years, when I used to go past, I used to go, oh, the BeeGees have been there. I used to go and sit there and have something to eat. And there was all the BeeGees. And I couldn't wait till one day I met the BeeGees and told them about the Bavarian Steakhouse. So here's the strange thing. I think it was 1997, the World Music Awards. I think that's the first time I ever got to meet the BeeGees, and I was really excited to go and meet them. And I went up, and before I could say anything, Robin said, "You're from the Gold Coast, kid. Do you remember the Bavarian Steakhouse?" I mean, it completely blew me away. And that's how our conversation started. This man, I was then thinking, how do I ask this man for an autograph? I don't know. I can't really do it. I was blown away again, because he said, "Listen, you wouldn't sign this for my son, will you?" Yeah, no worries, I'll check my schedule. Of course, this was the man I wanted to ask for. After that, of course, I asked for his autograph. And this is how this man came into my life. Years later, I met him again at the World Music Awards, and this time it was with a good friend of mine, Mike Reed. And Robin said, "I've got just the song for you." I mean, this guy blew me away every time. One of the biggest songwriters in the world, and he's standing there talking to me, talking about a song. So from there we started meeting up, we started talking about music, and I got to come to your house very many times, and we used to sit in that room. And the one thing I saw about Robin was he was tireless, he was selfless, he always used to want to do more. He couldn't, even if he wasn't feeling well, he'd disappear. And then where I'd say to Dwina, "Listen, Dwina, I should go," she'd be like, "No, Robin wants you to stay." And we'd wait, and Robin would come down and he'd carry on working. That was the kind of man that he was. If he didn't inspire me enough how he did, this was really inspiring me. So I just want to say, in the short time that I got to meet and spend time with Robin, his son, his wonderful wife, this family were very, very special. And in this industry, to meet people that are so humble with all the success that they have, make us little amateurs look up and think, wow, we need to learn from these people. And I've learned a lot from this man. So all my respect to you and Robin and your family. Now I'm going to give you a few little notes on just the success that Robin had. So here we start. He had the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Songwriters Hall of Fame Lifetime Achievement Award, Recording Academy Legend Award, 7-time Grammy Award winner, BMI Icon Award, Brits Lifetime Achievement Award, well in excess of 200 million records sold. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. 15 American #1 records, 31 weeks at #1 in the US with Saturday Night Fever. Until Thriller, Saturday Night Fever was the all-time bestseller. It still is the best-selling soundtrack of all time. And don't forget, it's not just the Bee Gees song that you remember of the songs that they wrote and they performed. They wrote for so many other artists, and some of your favourite songs from some of the other artists were written by the Bee Gees. These guys are unbelievable. One week in March 1978, the whole US top 5 were songs written by the Bee Gees, and that was just spoken about before. Over 6,000 cover versions. I mean, that's unbelievable. An unprecedented achievement of writing and performing #1 singles in 5 consecutive decades, starting with Massachusetts in 1967, and the last one to date, Islands in the Stream, recorded with Tom Jones for Comic Relief in 2009. So here are a few messages and tributes from some people who can't be with us, and thank you for asking me to do this. Bill Wyman, who is on tour with the Rhythm Kings in Europe, said that when Georgie Fame performed How Deep Is Your Love last night as a tribute to Robin, we had a standing ovation for our second song in. We are expecting something similar in Hamburg tonight. Bill continued, Robin was the best voice of the Bee Gees, and it was a pleasure to perform with him on a number of occasions in recent years. Robin will be missed. My love to Dwina, Bill and Susan Wyman. The legendary DJ Johnny Walker is not with us this afternoon, as he's live on BBC Radio 2. He sends his love to Dwina and will mark the occasion on the show today. George Michael, currently on tour, described Robin as such a sweet man when they met, that he had been blind to music prior to Saturday Night Fever. Beverly Knight is getting married, which is not a bad excuse for not attending today. She recorded Too Much Heaven, which is my personal favourite of the Bee Gees, with Robin on a recent album, and sang Guilty with him on stage in 2009. She has sent a message to Dwina saying how much she loved and revered Robin and how he inspired so many. She continues, for me, he was a humble genius and I feel honoured to have known him. Mick Hucknall, currently touring, sent his best wishes and expressed his respect for the music Robin and his brothers have created. Mitch Winehouse, currently in New York, organising a tribute for his daughter, called to send his regards and respect to Dwina and her family. Rick Wakeman called to say that he and his wife Rachel genuinely regret that due to filming commitments he cannot attend. He passes his best wishes to Dwina and will be thinking of Robin today. A truly wonderful man. And of course we could continue on and on, but these are the words of a man who in February 2011 at the Berlin Film Festival received the Lifetime Achievement Award presented by Robin. And on that evening he talked about how his life changed forever after the first screening of the opening credits of Saturday Night Fever. Of course, I'm talking about John Travolta. And the words that he said, which pretty much sums it all, he said, put them on the microphone and it's pure magic. So, thanks to everybody. Thank you for letting me read these out, and all my respects to your family.
Thank you, Peter Andre.